We speaking on things you not. Just press play and let it rock. Welcome to the Kandid Shop. Whoa. Welcome to the Kandid Shop. We speaking on things you not. Just press play and let it rock. Welcome to the Kandid Shop. Whoa. Feel like we going through mad things. Gotta keep it real when they choose not. We gon' talk about it when the news drop. Welcome to the show where you know we don't fake this. Keep your opinion to yourself if it don't make sense.
Hola, Podcast Nation. It's your girl, Candidly Kristen, and this is the Kandid Shop. On this Kandid Chat today, I am sitting down with third-generation intuitive and certified mindset coach, Kim Carpenter. Kim has over 15 years of human relations experience and specializes in emotional energy and how it impacts the love you have for yourself and others. Though she is a survivor of many types of abuse, including narcissistic abuse, Kim gently yet effectively guides others through their healing journeys to being a thriver. Kim was a guest on a previous episode of the Kandid Shop, Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places, and I am thrilled beyond measure to welcome her back to the Kandid Shop. So welcome back to the Kandid Shop, Kim. Yay!
Yay, thank you so much.
Awesome. So, initially, Kim, this episode, I planned on focusing on narcissistic abuse recovery and thriving exclusively, but your work as an intuitive healer and mindset coach deserves some attention as well. So, listeners, you guys get double for your listening trouble today. So, Kim, how have you been since you were last on my show?
Very well, thank you. Doing good. How about yourself?
Not bad. Busy, but busy is good. So I'm not upset. Can you briefly tell my listeners about your toxic relationship and how you got free to thrive?
Yeah, sure. So it's been several years now since I've been out of the situation, and I was with the narcissist for probably going on 8 or 9 years. I luckily seem to be forgetting that part of my life a little bit. So
good.
Through that healing that takes place. But yeah, it was, as we learn through abuse, it takes time. It happens slowly over time. It's very methodical on the abuser's part. And that's how kind of healing happens as well. You're healing very slowly from it. But yeah, throughout that time with him, it was, slow and gradual abuse that he did verbally, nothing physical, but it was just verbal, emotional, and sexual.
Oh, okay. Wow. I don't think I've heard that piece of it before. I've heard emotional and verbal and, those things that don't leave scars, but the sexual part, I think that's the first time anybody's ever shared that. So thank you for that.
Sure.
What did your journey to freedom look like from that?
I started healing actually when I was still in the relationship with him. I was, from him gaslighting me constantly and telling me I'm the crazy one. I started to believe that. So I put myself into talking with a therapist and started working with someone. And he was beginning to resent that because it was affecting me in many positive ways. I was starting to step back into my power and realize, the things that he was doing to me were not acceptable, even though I, told him over the years, this relationship isn't what relationships should be. And he was part of the, you're crazy, you're in fantasy land. So that healing started taking place for me before I left, and it gave me the power to leave. And, one of the last things that he did was, he never made any, physical threats, but his things were verbal, and he would, kind of joke about dying or, putting me in positions that would ultimately lead to, a passing or demise. And one of the last things was, that I was to plan a trip for him, and we were going to go out west to the Rocky Mountains. And if I just, happened to fall off while we were out hiking and disappeared, that wouldn't be a big deal, kind of a thing. So that was kind of really when it hit home for me. And I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm out.
Right.
That's it. So I started packing up.
Good for you. I'm so happy that you got out and that you're free and that you're thriving and living your best life. Yeah. Love it. So I was poking around your site, which I love, by the way, and I came across your free PDF, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery. Guys, if you get a chance, I'm going to give you her website information. You should get this free download. It's amazing. But it was subtitled Reclaim Yourself. When you wrote it and named it that, was that an ode to your personal journey to freedom?
Absolutely, it was. And I think what launched me on that was the quote in the very beginning of that PDF. I don't remember, or didn't find who wrote it, but it stated, I am starting to remember who I was before you convinced me I was worthless.
Yes.
That's it. That, because they do convince you all these things and you start believing it. And, to get back to yourself and to reclaim your power, there's several steps you have to go through.
Yep. I downloaded it, by the way, and I'm working my way through it. But that quote just drew me. I was like, yep, got to get it, because it is so many people's story and so many kinds of abuse is that you forget, like who you really are. So yeah, it was amazing. And the PDF is free, guys. So go get it. That's all I can tell you for that. So before we move on past the narcissistic abuse recovery part of our conversation and into your soul healing and mindset coaching and the intuitive piece, if you could give my listeners just one piece of advice. Well, it's going to be two pieces, actually. One for people out there that will hear this, that know they're in a toxic partnership and want to take steps to freedom. And then another piece of advice to those who suspect they may be.
Yeah, absolutely. So, a big part of it for me was in hearing that, from the therapy that I was going through, that I might be with, sociopathic, or psychopathic, narcissist. And I started researching that and what it was, and I became more involved in reading about it and how I could escape it and what I needed to do. Because first and foremost is your safety. You have to have that safety plan in place, or be thinking of where places you can go, or friends you can stay with, or family that can help you get out, or whatever you need to do to start taking those steps forward to make the best of it for yourself. So absolutely look out for yourself, number one.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, guys. So I got to ask, your site and your business is called Bimberlin Soulworks. Where in the world did the name Bimberlin come from?
Yeah, sure. And it's a question that I get asked often. So thank you. It was a Bim, or Bimber was a childhood nickname from my mom and my stepdad. And it was just always a very loving reference. It's always been used in the kindest of ways. It was only, between me and them. It was kind of our thing and their nickname for me.
Got it.
And so I wanted to incorporate that in with my business. And then Soulworks obviously is the soul work that you're doing to step back into your authenticity. And so I just kind of merged them together.
Oh, I love it. I thought first time I reached out to you and I was searching through my emails, thinking it's going to be something like Carpenter or something. And then it was like, oh, that's right. It's Bimberlin. I was like, I wrote on a Post-it note, ask her where that came from. So that's awesome. I love it. So you are a third generation intuitive. Can you please tell me and my listeners what that means and how it aids your work?
Yeah, so absolutely. And I've always known that my dad had a very strong intuition, and he used it in his work that he did as a fire investigator or a state fire marshal.
Okay.
And he always relied on his instinct. And I always picked up on that, throughout my childhood and different times. And so I became deeper into my intuition once leaving the narcissist. I stepped back into that because I was getting, those red flags. I was being things and I was ignoring them. So, and then I also knew that my grandmother, my dad's mom, she was always very intuitive. I can remember, holidays, she would get presents and she would shake them and she'd tell everybody what it was before she would open it, just as kind of joke and everything. And then after she passed and my dad had given me her jewelry box, I had found in it, several crystals in there, some amethyst and all turquoise and all kinds of monazite and angelite and all kinds of stones that I never knew, when she was living. I never knew she had these, but I always knew she always just had this kind of knowing, and we never talked about it. I didn't really know about it or come into that spiritual kind of awakening, before she passed. So I know that she is, and I've recently had some family members tell me, that she predicted them getting married and she knew they were pregnant before they, even knew. And so that kind of solidified it that, I definitely know, that's 3 generations, if not, more.
Nice. So how does that, it's gotta be tremendous benefit to you and your clients in your work. Tell me a little bit about how it aids in your soul healing work with your client.
So the way I work with my intuition is I tap into emotional energy. And if that involves, that chakra energy, or if it just is an emotional energy in general, I can kind of pinpoint what the client is feeling and then also dive a little bit deeper and see where that's connected to their past or past experiences or things that they've experienced in their life, situations and circumstances. And then we go from there. And, most often I touch on something for them that brings up a memory or brings up some healing for them. And we talk about that and talk through ways that they can work through it and get past it and do their soul work.
Nice. So in terms of soul work, what does that work involve? Like, what's in your coach toolbox for a client for soul work?
A lot of it's doing the shadow work. And that's, because sometimes we only want to look at the light, or we only want to focus on the positive. And to get true inner healing, we have to look at some of those things that were our challenges or circumstances that we're maybe trying to forget about or repress and not want to deal with. But when we don't deal with things, they become patterns in our life. And we see that in relationships, on our careers, our jobs, not advancing financially. And so all those things can be linked back to things in our energy. And we just go about it that way. So I either do some Reiki, or we go through chakras, or we just talk about very basic and approachable situations to get results that they're looking for.
Okay. Interesting. Now, mindset coach, I see it a lot. I hear it a lot. What exactly does that mean to you in terms of the work you do with your client?
Well, a lot of times we have to shift our mindset. Sometimes, when we go through traumas or we go through experiences in our life, we may get a fixed mindset thinking that, oh gosh, nothing can, my life is in shambles. Nothing's going to get better. I can't get out of this situation. You start getting in those thoughts and in that negative thought pattern, which is okay if you're in that, but to realize and understand that you can make those shifts within your mind, because our minds are a very powerful thing. You can start making those shifts over time, and then you'll start to see the transformations that you're making and how it's affecting your life in positive ways, more abundantly, more prosperity, or, things are starting to change. You're getting raises, you're getting promotions, you're having successful relationships. You start seeing those changes and you have those aha moments that give you those breakthroughs.
Nice. Talk to me a little bit about spiritual self-development and what that looks like.
Yeah, it's just doing that deep dive into your soul. A lot of times we hear, the word thrown out there of getting to the root or the root cause. And so you're going in, and spiritual can have, different meanings to everybody. For me, I kind of took that on as that spiritual development. I was raised in a very religious household. And I also witnessed a lot of hypocrisy and judgment and, all the things that the Bible was telling you not to do were being done, So for many years of my life, I fell away from religion and kind of found my way back to, for me, it's God, but, to the divine, to the source, to that creator universe, and came about that spiritual development where you're figuring yourself out, you're figuring out life, you're obtaining that inner wisdom, you're getting that divine wisdom, you're drawing on other sources, and that development looks different for everybody. We all take on different journeys. So it just, keeps evolving and keeps transforming your soul at those different levels.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So who are your clients typically? Like, who comes through the door and says, hey, I need this kind of help and I'd like you to help guide me? Women, men, couples, teens, combination of all?
Mostly women. I deal with mostly women, so my focus is on that. I have had some male clients, but the majority is women. And, range in age, I'd say from 20s up to 50s, 60s. So any kind of range in between. And they're mostly looking for, if it's not career or financially related, then it's love life. How can they improve their relationships? But I also have a lot of spiritual clients as well that are in the, either running a business as psychics or mediums or card readers, oracle card readers, or what have you, healers, energy healers, Reiki practitioners, that kind of a thing, where we all, coaches need coaches is what I always like to say. And so you're always just, finding someone to help you get out of that kind of stuck energy, or, move yourself forward in a way that healers can do.
Nice. So is your program, you're offering your coaching, is it a la carte? Is there a set length for your program? Can people just do a one and done, or is typically spread out?
It's going to depend on their goal and what they're trying to achieve. Because if it's that deeper level of healing, a one and done is not going to do it.
Right.
But there are some people that can do the one and done, like a lot of the spiritual clients that I mentioned. Maybe, for example, I had a psychic friend that came to me and they felt like they weren't able to get readings one day. They're like, I can't see anything. I can't hear anything. What's going on? I'm not getting messages. And so we just worked, for about 60 minutes together. And the next day she was okay. She was able to, reach out to clients and keep going in her business. So some people, yes, one and done. Others take longer. The course I offer, and I'm actually putting together some new workshops and different things. But right now it's, we go for 8 months, and that's 2 sessions a month for 90 minutes each. And, it sometimes takes that long because you might have to revisit. You might start out thinking, okay, I'm healed. I healed this situation. Let's move on to the next one. And then towards the end of the 6 or 7 months, it resurfaces or something triggers it, or, you still have to go back in and do some deeper healing. So.
Got it. So you mentioned earlier, Reiki, I am super, super interested in getting my Reiki level 1 at least before this year is up. That's my goal. I don't know if I'm going to meet it, but I'm going to do my level best. So do you see clients in person, online, combination of both? And does Reiki work best in person, or can it be as effective if you're doing, say, a Zoom call?
I believe it's as effective either way. I've seen it both ways. I started doing it amid the pandemic, so most of my work has been online, and I've been told by clients, that they've received results, that they were able to, function again and do different things. And so they noticed changes. But I also have some friends that just do it in person only, and they get great results with their clients as well. So I feel that it works both ways, because that energy that you're connecting to in Reiki, you're not physically touching the person.
Right.
So you can, tap into it or find your way to get into it and figure out where the healing needs to take place for the client.
Got it.
Or in person. Yeah.
Got it. Awesome. I like I said, I'm super interested in Reiki. It's always been something that I've been interested in. I read myself. I don't read anybody else in terms of tarot and oracle. Like, I read myself every morning and do my meditation. But Reiki is something else I'd like to have in my personal toolbox just because I've always been interested in it. So thank you for that. And I've considered getting Reiki, but I was like, I don't know, is it going to work if I'm not there? Does it work via Zoom? So I appreciate you clearing that up for me.
Yeah. And it'll work too. I've seen it, a lot of people do the distant healing at a specific time. And then they just ask that you kind of get in a quiet place, and you have to do some things on your part where, your mind, you're clearing your mind. You're essentially meditating during that time to get in that space. So yeah.
Awesome. So tell me, what is on the horizon for Kim and Bimberlin Soulworks? What's in the pipeline? Books, events? What you got going on?
I have going on right now several workshops that I am putting together, and those can run. Right now I'm wondering, put them either through like a membership plan on my website, or to do more of an event through Eventbrite or some other platform to offer those. So they will be, group sessions for women to join in. And one of them is actually recovery from narcissism, to get that going. And then maybe a love collective about, self-love, that journey of self-mastery. Nice. And then I also am a certified therapeutic art journaling instructor. And so I was going to do one on chakras and art journaling, like a 7 focus on the main chakras and stuff. So that's on my focus right now.
Oh, wow. Well, wait, talk to me a little bit about therapeutic art journaling.
Yeah. So there's a lot to do with, like the psychology of colors, and also with drawing, and journaling is a very powerful tool for healing. So you can, consistently write. And it's always suggested that you write physically, like pen and paper in hand, not computer, because you want to connect with the energy of the words that you're laying down.
Right.
And so journaling is very powerful. And then when you add in art to your journaling, it just gives it that extra layer of healing. And when I combine that with chakras, we draw mandalas or things that kind of relate to each of those major chakras. And then we color them according to the colors that are associated with the chakras, but we can use other colors as well. So that you have something to take, and you always have that to look at. So if, several months down the line, you want to go back and revisit your journal, you can see the healing that you went through and refocus on those pictures again, and, dive back into something if you wanted to, or take it in another direction. So it's very powerful.
Nice. I'm glad that you mentioned that. I hadn't even thought to ask you about that. So that's pretty cool. So that is the formal portion of our interview. So now it is time for the fun part. It is time for 10 candid questions. Okay. 10 candid questions, 10 totally random questions that I pick off of this crazy list that I found. And the only rule to this is you have to answer them candidly. Some of them are either or, some require a more fleshed out answer, but they all have to be candid. So you ready?
I am ready.
All right. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
That was easy. What would be the perfect birthday gift for you?
Crystals.
Nice. Me too. That just tickled me so much. Oh gosh. Morning person or night owl?
Morning.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
Lying.
You're the second person to say lying. What is the number one thing that the world is lacking in your opinion?
Inner peace.
Dogs or cats?
Cats.
What gives you the motivation to keep going every day?
Knowing that there is so much healing, not only within myself, but within the world that can be done. There's so much light that needs to be shined.
Okay. If you were writing your autobiography, what would the title be and why?
Something about deep, maybe deep river. That seems to be coming to me for some reason. Deep thoughts, maybe, because my zodiac sign is related to the element of air. So I'm a deep conversationalist. I'm a deep communicator. I'm a deep thinker on everything in life, every subject.
Okay. What's one thing you want to say to my listeners that you didn't get to say during our conversation?
To believe in yourself always, to wake up knowing that you can achieve anything you set out to do, that your options are limitless and there is a world of potential waiting, and just to keep believing and keep trusting in yourself.
Love it. Thank you for that. And last question, always the same. How can my listeners connect with you, avail themselves of your services, or just, connect with you for some soul healing?
Sure. So I do a lot of things on my social media accounts on Facebook or Instagram. And Facebook is Bimberlin Soul Works. Instagram is under Bimberlin, but I'm also known as I Am Intuitive Kim.
Okay.
And through my website, you can find anything. That's BimberlinSoulWorks.com.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And guys, as always, Kim's contact information will be in the show notes with clickable links, so you can just go right there and click and pop over. I really, really, really do advise everybody, whether you're in a narcissistic relationship or not, to download that free ebook. It really is powerful, because I got it and I was like, yeah, sometimes you just need to hear certain things to get past certain things, whatever that thing is. So, Miss Kim, I am sorry that we are sadly at the end of our time together, but I appreciate you for taking this time to sit down to have this conversation with me and to share with my listeners. I appreciate it so, so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to speak with you again. It's been a joy and I love talking with you.
Thank you so much. I wish you every bit of happiness and success in whatever you do going forward. I really, really do.
Thank you. Same to you.
You're welcome, and thank you. So guys, that's a wrap for today's Candid Chit Chat. So until we meet again, I want you guys to keep it safe, keep it healthy, and keep it candid.